Borderland. Oh, honey, change your name. Is there even an abbreviation for that? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Vinland Saga. We are now on season 1, episode 8, which is called Beyond the Edge of the Sea. So last episode, we are continuing to follow Thorfinn with his pirate gang, and they have basically, we found out that the war on England has continued to rage on for a couple of years, and that for now the Danes have said, pause, we're not going to attack over the winter, we're going to wait till next summer. So the pirates are basically like, we need to make money, we can't wait a whole winter. So they decided to go a little further south to France, and they found an opportunity where Thorfinn again was instrumental in making it happen. But we see that Thorfinn's getting a little tired of being this hired hand. I'm glad to hear that all the killing he's doing, especially for Askeladd, is getting to him. So he basically is like, what's it going to take for you to duel me? I'm tired of this. Like, I feel like I'm strong enough now. And Askeladd tells him, if you bring me the head of someone, like basically someone important from a military, then I'll give you your duel. So we see that that's why Thorfinn does yet another quest, I guess you could say. And he brings him the head and challenges him. But of course, before they can do anything about it, we see that they have to escape France because the betrayed party there is trying to come after them. So we're into the next episode, ready to see what fresh hell we've got now. I'm very excited. So let's jump in. But just before I do, if you'd like to be notified of when I drop these episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. There's still time. I don't know why you mad. I mean, I feel like at this point you should just take him out in his sleep like he told you all those years ago. Everyone always wanting to go out to sea and see battle. Out of my way. You really don't want to mess with this one, I promise. Exactly. Back up. That's a long story that'll probably have your stomach churning, so let's not talk about it. Why are you being so nice to that man? You know he actually takes women, right? Uncle. Did it now. Maybe all should become vegetarians. Oh, you're a scammer too. I'm not surprised it's in the family. See, what you need to do is find out that this is his uncle, Thorfinn, since he took someone from you. I like having money, but I don't love it like that. Causes you a lot of pain when you love it like that. Borderland. Oh, honey, change your name. Is there even an abbreviation for that? That's not gonna sound crap. Yeah. Can we change it? Well, she was a princess. Not rooting for that. I love that they're rooting for Thorfinn. They're like, we don't even like Askeladd. Look, he's wearing armor. That's not fair. Okay, he doesn't have to be your dad, but... Please don't attack first, Thorfinn. Tell me that you've learned something. Yeah, I'm noticing Berserker's quiet because he's like, he might actually get hurt. Don't know if he'll die, but Askeladd might get hurt. Yeah, he grows. Yeah, how old are you now? He really hasn't learned. You still haven't learned, Thorfinn. You really haven't learned. He didn't get hit. That's true. Oh, you're recognizing. Have you not been paying attention for the last, what, 10 years? Oh, Thorfinn! He won't let you do that twice. Hang in there, kid. Always trying to get him angry so he won't focus. It's probably gonna work. Oh, honey, it's over. Well, this battle's over. You're angry.
ガキの命と引き換えに剣を捨てたあのバカだ。
Yep. You deserve that, Thorfinn. You're gonna have to learn the hard way not to let your emotions get in the way. But only because you realize he can't beat you in hot combat anymore. His balls are right there.
羊の胸肉食いてえな。香草焼きで。
He is absolutely blood boiling. But again, I gotta remember, Thorfinn's like maybe 14, 15. Those are lessons you learn with time, not to let people bait you. See, if you listen to your dad, Thorfinn, Thors would never have fallen for that bait. I hope he burns your boats.
もともとはあいつの親父の船だからな。あんなガキ船に乗せてやばくないですか？寝込みを襲われでもしたら。
Unfortunately, he's not that smart.
やつは一応選手だからね。正々堂々一騎打ちで勝たないと嫌なの。
He really needs to get over that if he wants to truly be someone with revenge. And you shouldn't be calling yourself a warrior when you did a cheap shot.
プライドがやつを縛ってるわけだ。
Didn't I tell you there's not a short abbreviation that was gonna sound good?
くらいなら自殺しますけどね。俺は。
Easy to say unless you actually have a life that's threatened.
金の奴隷が無知持って金で買った奴隷に囚人面してやがんの。人間はみんな何かの奴隷だ。
Interesting viewpoint. What you need to do, Thorfinn, is get strong like your dad and be able to row that boat by yourself, then you can steal it. If your dad was talking to you from heaven, he would slap you across the face for being dumb. Not for losing, but for being dumb. But Askeladd was right about him being stuck. He is absolutely stuck. At that moment, his dad died, and understandably so.
俺の子だからな。使い質になっていっても無駄だろうし。
That part's true.
自分の力で気づくしかないのかな。
At this point, I feel like he's one of those kids. Some children are like that. You know, you can try all you want to teach them to do better for themselves, but they have to go through all the hard things themselves to learn. Don't be rolling up on warriors like that. Oh, he snapped out of the mask. In a way, but it's by choice.
あんたと違って飯を食う場所を自由に選べる。
Getting haughty.
私と同じって感じがするから。
You are, you're right.
知るか。
You sure?
俺があんただったらゴルムを殺して逃げる。追っても全員殺す。
You say that, but why didn't you take out what's his face in his sleep then?
なら一生奴隷でいればいい。あんたの勝手だ。
And you're a slave to your revenge.
海の彼方まで逃げ切ったら、そこには何があるのかしら。
America.
きっと何もないわね。
No, America's there.
戦と奴隷商人がいる。
I mean, actually, back then, depending on what native tribe you ran into, or indigenous tribe, I should say, you could end up just being another slave. That's right, your dad didn't like slavery. Remember that?
海の向こうに
Oh, you're gonna tell him about Vinland?
奴隷商人も戦の炎を
It's called
解かない
America.
統
Or
一
Canada. I'm not sure how far north you were, bro.
そんなところが本当に。
Never gonna find out living here.
この旅の大構成にあたり、
You square-headed.
万事滞りなく。
Can't wait for Thorfinn to find out who you really are and take you out.
他のイングランド掌握のため尽力する次第であります。
Oh. Oh, are we okay? Do we need a little exfoliation?
しかし、恐れながら殿下はまだ戦場でのご経
Well, then he ain't
験も
gonna
浅
make
く、
it.
明朝出航する。
How don't we see? How come we can't see the king's whole face? Just twice he's been in shadow or partially shown.
その勢いはとどまることなく、主力軍はそのまま陸路を南下、停滞することとなる商業都市ロンドンにて。
At one time, London was just a tiny little part of England, not the Mecca it is today. Oh God, okay. That was devastating. Maybe let's not get in the way of his axe again.
楽しい戦じゃねえか。
Wasn't this the guy that was fighting with his dad? With Thors, right? That's the guy that was fighting with Thors. Fairly certain that's him. I remember that face. Also the fact that he was fairly deadly with an axe. Whew, okay guys, well that was another good episode. We see that the duel actually went down and that Askeladd did quote unquote honor it, but as for playing fair, that's not Askeladd, right? Askeladd is a wild, like when you have someone like him who just lives life sideways, he's never going to take anything on head on. He's never going to be direct. And I think it's hilarious that he still calls himself a warrior because you can tell that there's a little bit of that Viking pride that's still in him, but he doesn't act like a true warrior at all, right? He is definitely greedy and he will do anything it takes to win. He doesn't care about honor or valor. None of those things matter to him in the face of money. And so that's one of the reasons why, like a few episodes back, he was so enthralled with Thors, because I don't think he'd seen such a truly, through and through upstanding man who actually stood in his integrity in a long time, right? I do think a lot of Vikings probably used to be that way, but things happen, right? Life changes, societies have to change with the times. And I think a lot of Vikings were becoming more and more like Askeladd, where they were more about profit, living comfortably, chilling, not so much about this, we gotta live like we're gonna die every day. Whereas Thors, he didn't really believe in that anymore, but the fundamental core integrity that he had about doing things honorably and sticking to the rules and kind of sticking to what you believe in, that was still firmly intact with him. And you could tell that Askeladd did, it's something that made him awestruck and even impressed, even though in the end, he didn't care enough to it wasn't enough for him to not take Thor's life, right? In the end, he still wanted those 5 pounds of gold. So yeah, it's just interesting to see that he clearly sees the same values in Thorfinn. And I said a couple episodes ago that I think that he saw the value in Thorfinn as someone he could groom and shape into the type of fighter that he wanted, because that's exactly what he's done, right? Now Thorfinn is one of his aces in the hole. He doesn't want to lose Thorfinn now. He keeps making these statements, oh, if he dies, oh, he may not make it back. He doesn't want that at all. He wants Thorfinn. As long as Thorfinn's alive and able to do good for him, he wants Thorfinn. He would not let that kid, if that kid wanted to walk away right now, he would probably find a way to try to keep him there. Now, if Thorfinn escaped, meaning if he left sometime when they weren't looking and disappeared, he probably would let Thorfinn go in that instance. But if Thorfinn was like, yeah, I'm quitting, that would be probably where you would see Askeladd do what he could to probably keep Thorfinn there, because as we see, he's not the strongest of his soldiers, but he's fast, he's lethal, he's very good for scouting. He's just become a very good asset for Askeladd and his business. So anyway, he decided to do the duel because, again, he thought it was going to be as easy as it was when he last did it when he was, 6 years old. But I thought, it was interesting when they started the duel when he said, oh, you got taller. It kind of hit him oh, yeah, you've actually grown up a little bit. Because I do think to an extent Askeladd still saw him as a kid. And then when that fight started, especially when Thorfinn disarmed him, that's when Askeladd realized there was no way he was going to honestly win that fight. That this kid, he didn't say his age, which was annoying. I was kind of hoping he would actually tell him his age. But this kid, I'm assuming he's between about 15 and 16 years old now, completely outmatched him. As far as a fighter, he knows he can't go hand to hand with this kid anymore. So that's when he went to fighting cheap, right? As soon as he started, it's oh, I'm going to bring up his dad, because he knows that the whole reason that Thorfinn is doing this is because he's still angry and traumatized by what happened to his dad, and he is still blaming himself for it. And he poked all the right buttons, understandably, and sadly, Thorfinn fell for it. It's frustrating, but I have to remember he's young, and that these are lessons you learn with time, that you can't let people provoke you like that. I say with time, but I know adults who still let themselves be provoked if you know the right buttons to push. So it takes a lot to learn to let things roll off your back and to stay focused. And unfortunately, our young man is not quite there yet. So yeah, of course, once he got Thorfinn angry, that's when Askeladd knew he won the fight already. And you saw that even, what was his name? The Berserker, he realized too, he saw me, he was actually kind of disappointed. You can say he's oh, Thorfinn, you fell for it, why? But anyways, I'm not going to blame Askeladd too much because he don't want to die. He's too greedy to die at this point. But I think he knows now that he's not going to be taking a duel on from this kid anytime soon lightly, because now he knows Thorfinn's no joke. He has gotten stronger. He is a lot better than he used to be. He just is, as he was telling that kid in the dining hall, he's traumatized and he's stuck in the past, and he's allowing these, well, in his mind, Askeladd thinks that the honor that Thorfinn holds dear is a weakness, and it's not. It is something that's holding him back from doing something like taking Askeladd out in his sleep, which would be, if he just really wanted to kill the guy, that is the way to do it. But Thorfinn wants the satisfaction of doing it in a way that he thinks his father would approve of. But the vision that he got on the boat was telling, because the fact that he, I guess, dreamt about his dad, and his dad said, if I tell you to stop, you're not going to listen to me. So I think he knows deep down that his dad is not okay with this, that is not what his dad wanted. And he knows, like, we heard him repeat one of his dad's final lessons to him, which is that nobody is your enemy. No one deserves to be taken out, right? So he knows these things, and I do think there has been a battle deep down with Thorfinn for a long time around all the things he's been doing in the name of this revenge, but it's all he's got at this point. And I just feel like in his mind, he's still justifying everything that's happened, from, you know, his dad dying to all these years of having to scrounge and survive, to all the lives he's taken. Like, I think in his mind, he's just like, I need to complete this mission to make it all worth it. Otherwise, what have I suffered all this for, you know? So anyway, I thought that, and also the conversation he had on the boat with the girl, Hordaland. What a horrible name. Anyways, Hordaland. She is someone who didn't grow up that way, and obviously life has taken a very negative turn for her. And they have that conversation on the boat, and he basically tries to condescend to her, but anyways, tells her, oh, you know, you're just a slave. I don't know what it's like to be you. If I were you, I would have, taken out my master, and I would have run away. And she's like, I don't want to take life. Like, that's not, the idea is not something I want to do. But also, the fact that he just kind of, the way he said it, and earlier we heard in the episode Askeladd say that everybody's a slave to something, right? He's like, when he was looking at his uncle trying to break in this slave, he's like, my uncle doesn't realize we're all a slave to something in some way. So for Askeladd, I'd say it's his greed. He's a slave to his greed. He's willing to do anything, including compromise his principles as a warrior for money. And then we've got now Thorfinn, who is a slave to his revenge at the moment, his vengeance, his anger. He can't control himself because of those things, and he's doing things he knows are intrinsically against his values because of them. So I just thought it was a really good conversation all around about the slave thing, and how slaves can be applied in a much broader sense. But then I also like that he got the flashback of the fact that his dad paid basically all of their livestock for a year for the life of a slave that he knew wasn't going to make it through the night. That's how much his dad hated the idea of someone being forced into a life they didn't ask for. So yeah, just kind of another reminder to Thorfinn that his dad was a greater man than just a warrior, and that, he should be a little bit more empathetic to this slave girl, which we saw in the end when she was talking about what would happen if she ran away. And he was like, there is a place you can dream of going to someday if that helps ease this situation. But the likelihood of her making it there is pretty slow. But anyways, it was another really good episode. I really like how this show mixes the really good, fight scenes and that sort of thing, but also with some really good messaging as well around just life and the principles, and kind of building up the kind of person. Again, Thorfinn is very much still trying to figure out the kind of person he wants to be outside of this vengeance quest. So I like these little moments where he has a time to think about that and really marinate on whether or not that he wants to keep going on this path now that he's lost 2 duels to this man. So another good episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.